Hello, everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining us today. My name is Simone and I'm Community Manager with the OED Marketing Team. And I'm delighted to be here joined today by my colleagues for a demonstration of all the OED can offer to your library users. I'm going to now start with a round of introductions. So not in any particular order, I'll just prompt you as you appear on my screen. So may I start with you, Danica, please?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Danica Salazar, and I am Executive Editor for World Englishes for Oxford Languages.
Thank you. Ellie, can I move you onto you, please?
Thanks, Simone. Hi, everyone. My name is Ellie Hawkes, and I am the Product Manager for the Oxford English Dictionary.
Thanks. Now, Amy, can you go next, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Kammerman, and I am a Regional Customer Trainer with Oxford University Press.
Thanks. And now, last but certainly not least, could you please go, Jeffrey?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Jeff Shoup. I'm a regional manager in the institutional sales team for North America. I manage the eastern region of the US and Canada.
Thank you. While we are giving people some time to put their questions there, I just wanted to mention two that came as comments while people were registering. So one of them was around personal accounts. So Ellie, I know you covered this in your presentation, but there was someone asking the particular advantages of having a personal account as opposed to not creating one.
Sure. Yeah, it's really a kind of feature for convenience. So absolutely anybody can create a personal account on OED, even if you don't have a subscription or access to a subscription. It doesn't cost anything to create that account. And it means that you can save those kind of display preferences that we looked at in the presentation. So if you want to default to one particular entry view over another on every time you look at an entry, or default to always showing quotations, or showing all quotations rather, as opposed to only showing the first and last quotation, then you can set that as a default. It's also how you can save searches so that you don't need to run them the same search every time. You go to OED, you can create an account, save a search to your profile, and then it will stay there for you to access again. It's also how you can sign up to communications from us. So if you're interested in receiving the OED newsletter, you can create the profile and tick a box to say that you'd like to receive that as part of that process. And it's also what you'd need to do if you don't have access to a subscription. You can create an account and then follow links to purchase your own subscription there.
Thanks, Ellie. The other comment that was mentioned that was sent to us in advance was around how the OED obviously covers humanities disciplines and supports research in humanities. But the person was asking for a little bit more about how it can support research in other fields. And Danica, this morning you mentioned a good example around the language of COVID-19. So could you please comment a little bit more about that?
Yes, so as I mentioned briefly in the pre-recorded part of the presentation, although there are many applications of the OED in the fields of languages and linguistics, the dictionary can be used in other fields as well. So we gave the example of an academic article in law, but as Ramon, as you've mentioned, there was one time as well that we were involved in some medical anthropology research relating to the language of COVID-19. So what the researchers were able to do was to use the data that the lexical data that OED have been able to gather in the research in the vocabulary that emerged during the pandemic, and analyze them through the lens of medical anthropology to see how we can improve medical communication so that important medical information be communicated to people in the most effective way possible. So that's one way of using the OED in the field that's not that's outside of just strictly the study of the English language or the history of English.
Thanks, Danica. And obviously the case study that you mentioned already shows that it was support for research that was in the field of law.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned this morning that a lot of the number of law firms actually subscribe to the OED because, as we know, knowing the very exact meanings of words is quite central in making legal arguments. So lawyers usually find the OED very useful in setting out their arguments on the basis of how words are defined in the dictionary.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And we do have a first question there in the Q&A, so now I'm going to put it on the screen. It's this. At the very end of the old print OED, there's a bibliography of the books and works where the words were found. I think you know what I mean. Can we look at that for a moment?
Danica, I don't know about you. I'm not familiar with the print bibliography.
I think,
Is there one?
I think, you may have an idea of what's being referred to here, because obviously before, when the OED came out in book form, so we were a big concern was saving space, physical space, because, we had to use paper, and there's only a finite amount of paper that can be used in a 20-volume publication. So OED quotations usually are very highly abbreviated. So the quotation, the citation information is abbreviated. So at the end of the 20 volumes, there's a huge bibliography where all of those abbreviated references are spelled out. I think that's how I would interpret that. But of course, now that the OED is published online, there's no longer any need for that, because although the OED citations are still abbreviated, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ellie, if you hover over it or click on it, you can actually see the more detail about the specific publication. So you don't need to go to a separate bibliography section to see the detailed information in on the source of each quotation. You could look at it immediately from where you are. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's right. There's a little button to press to open up a pop-up that would give the complete title and some publication information about the work that is being cited in the quotation.
Okay, thank you. And as I understand it, it's now a lot easier to use the citation as well, isn't it? Because you can directly send it to the reference management system that you're using.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you can download it to EndNote or Zotero or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. The next question there is this one. I'm at a multi-campus, multinational university. Would each campus require its own subscription?
I can take a crack at that if you like. As with most things in life, I would say it depends. If your university has a centralized purchasing for all those campuses, and IPs are all included together, it's possible. But if the campuses sort of work independently and make choices on their own, then most likely we would separate them out and ask them to purchase separately. I think when in doubt, contact your sales rep, which in order to do that, at the bottom of the OED website, you can just go to purchasing, and it will gradually get you to a spot where you can find your rep and contact your rep, and certainly we can give you a more detailed answer.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Right, so the next question there is this one. As a law librarian, I've been using this database for almost 25 years. As a subscriber in library, is it possible to get a URL that includes our proxy information to send to researchers to make login seamless?
I can have a stab at this one. I am not that au fait with the art of proxy access, which I know is very complicated. My understanding is that the short answer is no. It is not possible to carry over that kind of proxy information within the URL. That is a change that is in effect since we changed platform and changed the kind of back-end access service to that platform. But I would encourage you to get in touch either with a rep or with our customer services if you're encountering a specific issue in this area, because there may be ways that we can help.
I don't know if you, Jeffrey or Amy, if you have anything else to say about proxy access.
No, I would concur with Ellie to say, most likely the researcher would need to log into their library website, and once they're authenticated there, then they would get through to whatever link is provided to them. But putting it into the URL is probably not possible.
Okay, thank you. Right, so moving on to the next question. A question on the choice of IPA symbols in the pronunciation section. Why is, well, I'm not able to read the IPA symbol, so I'm just going to say, why is this symbol used in place of the more traditional other symbol there in words like but?
Danica, I don't know if you have can answer that one.
I'm
I can
afraid.
keep the question on the screen if you prefer, because I did a lousy job reading it aloud.
No, I'm afraid this is our choice of transcription is outside of my purview, and you will have to refer to our pronunciations editor to answer that. So maybe if there's a way we can contact the person who asked and send them the answer by email. Because I don't want to say something that's wrong and then just have to be corrected later. So I think it's better.
No, that's absolutely fine. I can forward the question to the people in charge of pronunciation, and then we can get back to you directly. But thanks for asking the question anyway. Right, so moving on to the next one. Are there any plans for developing an app version of the OED for smartphones?
I can take that one. At the moment, we don't have any plans in the near future to do that. The OED on its new platform is much more usable on a smartphone than it was previously, at least. So it should be a lot more straightforward to access and navigate the OED via a smartphone or tablet. That is something that we are asked quite or relatively frequently, though, so it is something for us to consider. But in the short term, no, we don't have any plans for an app.
Thanks, Ellie. Right, next question. This one here. Can you talk about data mining options?
Again, I can take that one. We don't have any kind of open or public way of data mining the contents of the OED. However, we do want to support academic researchers who are using the OED as part of their research. So if you have a need to mine the contents of the OED, then we do have an API that can be used, and we do have a couple of other alternatives as well. So I would encourage you to get in touch with the OED email address, which I don't know, hopefully is available. And if you outline what it is that you need, then we can consider that. And if it kind of meets with our criteria, we'll be able to support you there.
Thanks, Ellie. And I would just ask my colleagues behind the scenes to put the OED email address in the chat for everyone to see, but that email address is on all the email communications that you got for this virtual event, so it should be easy to find as well. Sorry, Jeffrey, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that to say that if you're a librarian that works closely with your sales rep can help direct you there too, because there'll be some licensing details that you'll have to work out with you anyway. So the sales rep can be a point of contact as well.
When we get the recording link, can you forward it to colleagues who may be interested? Oh, I can take that. Yes, of course you can. And please do. Just wanted to say a big thank you to the presenters and to the people here present to answer questions. I really enjoyed the presentations, and I hope everybody else enjoyed them as well. So thanks everyone for attending. And I think that from us for now is goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.